Perfect. Well, good morning, everyone. Bonjour et tous. It's a pleasure to be here alongside my friend and colleague, of course, Minister Patty Hajdu, and of course the Ontario ministers that have joined us today, Minister Piccini, Minister Harris, and of course Minister Holland. We've got Secretary of State John Zaracelli, and of course MP Terry Sheehan joining us here today for this important announcement. And look, I've seen the impacts on tariffs in my community in Brampton. Stellantis is located in my riding, and that's hundreds of workers that are directly being impacted by tariffs from our southern neighbor. And so we are stepping up to make sure that workers are supported, but we're not standing still. As the Prime Minister has been very clear, that we can give ourselves more than any foreign power can take away from us. And that's exactly what we're doing by diversifying our trading partners around the world. We are moving at speeds never seen before. Typically, the Government of Canada would sign one agreement a year. We've done a handful in just 9 months alone. Indonesia, the 5th largest economy, destined to be the 5th largest economy. Ecuador, UAE, our safe procurement agreement with the EU, European Union, which is unlocking hundreds of $millions of procurement opportunities for our defense sector. But that's not all. We're attracting investments in the billions of dollars, and reports recently have come out $100 billion, close to $100 billion, the highest in 18 years. That's billions of dollars to build our major projects in mining, in energy, in infrastructure, and we're going to need thousands of skilled workers to build those big projects. And so that's very important to mention for the workers that are sitting at home, wondering what our government has been moving on, what the Prime Minister has been working on. It's about delivering on those commercial deals. We just came back from India a few days ago where we signed a $2.6 billion uranium agreement with India. To me, it's not about the billions, it's about the thousands of workers supported by the nuclear sector. In Ontario alone, over 90,000 workers supported by the sector. The Prime Minister Carney, recently announced $2 billion at the SMR Darlington project. That's going to be the first commercialized G7 unit, commercialized G7 SMR unit, and that's very important for over 20,000 workers that are going to be helping building that project. And so to me, it's about the opportunities we're creating abroad, bringing them home for workers. But today's announcement is to support those workers as they reskill, as they upskill in this transition period, and we want to make sure we're there for them. So without further ado, let me welcome my friend and colleague, Minister Patty Hajdu.
Well, thank you very much, Manny, and I think that's a perfect opening and segue to the announcement today. But I will just say all of that work is about Canadian workers. It's about making sure that as our sectors are impacted by tariffs, as we see opportunities with new markets and new products, that workers are well equipped to be able to take advantage of this new work. And so I'm very thrilled to be with all of my colleagues here. I'm not sure if we also mentioned that Mike Harris is here, also Minister of Natural Resources, and we have representatives from Algoma Steel and the Ontario Professional Forestry Association. And I'm really glad that we have members from the various sectors that have been deeply impacted. I'm from Northern Ontario, and certainly forestry has been deeply impacted not only by tariffs but by changing market conditions. And we've all seen all too well over the last number of months the use of tariffs as essentially economic attack on our workers, and financial infrastructure used as coercion across the world, supply chains that are exploited and used as vulnerabilities to try to coerce action by other state actors. And so Canada stands at a defining moment, as my colleague said, and Canadians have been incredible and united over the last months, standing together to protect not only their economy, but to protect each other. We have to develop stronger resilience, though, and part of that stronger resilience is being able to, as my colleague Manny said, open up new markets, create new product, and make sure that we are truly selling to the world. And in order to do that, we have to make sure that our workforce continues to be strong, engaged, skilled, and adaptive. In Ontario, families all across Ontario are feeling the impacts of tariffs, and I'm so glad that we have someone from Algoma Steel here today, because of course it's ultimately companies that are feeling the impact on their profit and on their revenue, but it's working families that are feeling that insecurity. It's working families that are worried about how they're going to put food on the table, how they're going to make sure their children get a good education as their jobs are threatened. As of January this year, Ontario's unemployment rate stood at 7.3%, and this is a red flag. This means that tariffs actually have caused labor market challenges, and in particular, the automotive, steel, and softwood lumber sectors have really taken the largest hit. But as I said, communities across Canada are coming together like never before. Partnerships between federal and provincial governments, local colleges, employers, and community organizations have been strengthened in a unified approach to addressing the impact on our economy and Canadian families head on. And this is really with the sole purpose of standing strong for Canada. Here's a good example in Ontario. In December, Algoma announced that it would have to lay off 1,000 workers due in part to the impact of tariffs. But federal and provincial governments took immediate action together, and we've been working closely with Algoma and the United Steelworkers to ensure these workers have real-time access to support. Together, we're ensuring that training and employment supports are available, with laid-off workers being proactively contacted and offered access to training and upskilling. Service Canada collaborated with the unions in the province of Ontario to deliver numerous information sessions, and EI clinics will be coming when the time is right. And I will also say this, it is a very disorienting time for families and workers when layoffs happen, and making sure that people can access those supports in a location that's easy to find, that is familiar to them, with professionals on site, makes that adjustment that much more comfortable. What this means is that each individual worker doesn't have to scroll through websites to figure out what they need to do on their own. The supports include suggestions, connections, training options, and assistance for applying in EI. And it also means no lost time or benefits. It means the ability to get back to work as soon as possible, even if they have to get new or additional training. And finally, I'll say this. Although we have put into place extraordinary measures for employment insurance, obviously nobody wants to stay on employment insurance long term. And that's why today's announcement is so important, because it is about getting workers the skills they need for the next job, the skills they need to feel that confidence in the ability to take up other work in sectors that deeply need those professionals. And so today I'm excited to announce $228.8 million in federal funding through the Canada-Ontario Workforce Tariff Response. This is a 3-year commitment that's expected to help more than 27,000 people across the province. And it's in addition to the almost $925 million annually that is spent to support employment programs in Ontario. This funding will provide the supports that I mentioned before. It will support workers through undeniably what can be one of the most trying times of their lives. The Ontario government will focus its efforts primarily on workers in the steel, softwood lumber, and automotive sectors, which have been significantly affected by global market shifts. And it will be done through Ontario's established network of training programs and employment services, as well as through Skills Advance Ontario, which is a new tariff response initiative designed for employers, workers, and job seekers. Here in Ontario, it's clear that the automotive sector has taken the biggest hit. And while we've already helped provide career counseling, upskilling programs, and other individually tailored supports to over 4,900 automotive workers in Ontario, the workforce tariff response will help us to go even further. This funding will help workers in Ontario build new skills or take advantage of new opportunities in emerging in-demand industries. Les entreprises peuvent réorganiser leur production afin d'être encore plus compétitives sur le marché international. And local communities will have the tools they need to pivot and to thrive for generations to come. As my colleague, Minister Sidhu said, look, there are lots of things that we can't control. It is a very uncertain time for Canadians. Indeed, it's a very uncertain time for global citizens. But in Canada, we can choose resiliency. We have chosen unity. We've chosen collaboration across provinces, across territories, with local employers, and that's how we build Canada strong. So, Minister Piccini, I look forward to our continued work together to help the province of Ontario and our communities and families thrive. And I think that we are ready to build a workforce that will meet the moment. Thank you very much.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be here with all of you today in Ottawa alongside my colleagues, Minister Holland and Minister Harris. who work so tirelessly for workers of this province, Minister Hajdu and other federal ministers here, Minister Zaricelli, whom I work very closely with. It's an honor to stand with industry leaders from our forestry sector, our steel sector, and of course mold making as well, who's here today. We are, as you heard today, living in a time of increased economic uncertainty. Canada is not immune from global economic headwinds, but what is imperative is that we tackle these challenges in a unified front, a Team Canada approach. Our government, under Premier Ford's leadership, will never shy away from helping workers when help is needed. Today, that means standing with the workers hit hardest by American tariffs. As every Ontarian knows, tariffs targeting Canada and Ontario have put real pressure on our economy, especially in the steel sector, forestry sector, automotive, critical sectors that have been mentioned. These pressures are being felt on job sites in every corner of our province. We've heard clearly from steelworkers, from the Canadian Association of Mold Makers, from Motor Vehicle Retailers of Ontario, and so many more, the forestry sector, just to name a few, that tariff uncertainty is creating real pressures on job sites. This is why we are acting to support a highly productive and nimble workforce, to help workers build new skills, retrain or reskill, to help businesses retrain skilled staff, and boost economic productivity. Ontario's strengths comes from its people, our workers, our industries, and the communities that rely on them. And today we're taking another step to protect Ontario's workforce. We will deliver training that meets people where they are and helps them respond to economic uncertainty. For some, that means retraining for a new opportunity. For others, it means building new skills for emerging industries. For some, in the manufacturing sector in my own riding, it simply means diversifying their outputs to new markets across the globe. Working with our federal partners, this funding will focus support on those most directly impacted. At the end of the day, we're stronger when we stand together as one Canadian workforce and look out for the people who build our province and power our economy. The launch of Skills Advance Ontario is about exactly that, taking action, giving workers exactly the tools they need to succeed amidst ongoing economic uncertainty. Over the next 3 years, this historic investment of over $220 million will aim to support approximately 27,000 workers in industries hit hardest by tariffs with tailored training, services, and supports. It will fund skills training, upskilling, reskilling, so workers can stay employed, move into in-demand jobs. It's the first program for which we will leverage the new funding under the Ontario Workforce Tariff Response, and we thank our federal partners for this investment. This fund will also benefit other programs like Better Jobs Ontario, which our government recently announced a $50 million increase to. This is providing wraparound tailored supports like daycare, like transportation. It ensures we have those wraparound supports so that folks can focus on training to land a better job with a bigger paycheck. Our power centers, which received an additional $20 million this year, help ensure workers facing layoffs can access the supports and resources they need. And as you heard from Minister Hajdu today, they're already in action. I visited our center up in Sault Ste. Marie just the other day, and incredible partnership with SISTEC and steel workers. It's helping workers with proactive outreach, and it's really making sure they have the supports that they need. Skills Advance Ontario connects job seekers, workers, and employers with the targeted training in sectors under pressure from tariffs. So what does that mean on the ground? It means a worker in Hamilton can upgrade a welding certificate, support transitioning to a new technology. It means a steel worker or a mill worker in Northern Ontario can retrain for an in-demand career in mining and continue supporting their families. It means an auto parts supplier in Windsor can upskill its workforce to compete and can grow in an interconnected world. So whether you're a business trying to retrain workers or someone looking to retrain from a career in a high potential sector, these programs are here for you. Applications for SAO are now open, and our regional offices have already done extensive outreach, and we already have applications today in draft form. Our message to Ontario workers and employers is simple. We will protect you. We will work alongside you. You have a partner in the government. You have a partner in the federal government, lower tier municipal governments. Working together alongside world-class training institutes, our colleges, our universities, municipalities, district service boards, unions, and so many more, we will be there to meet this moment, to stand with Ontario workers as we diversify our economy and as we nation build. Our best days as a nation are ahead of us, And as a grandson of an immigrant who came here, who is very much a part of nation building, I look forward to working with a unified Team Canada front to nation build, to build a strong economy, to unlock the critical minerals, build the new nuclear stations we need to support a Canadian economy that works for every region of our province. Thank you very much, and it's my honor today to invite up Louise Simpson. She's Executive Director of the Ontario Professional Forester Association to speak a little more about the impact of today's announcement. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, everyone. I am the Executive Director and Registrar for the OPFA. I can't claim to speak for industry. We are the regulator of professional foresters in Ontario. So our primary mandate is to make sure that we are protecting the public interest by ensuring that registered professional foresters and those becoming licensed to work in the profession are qualified, competent, and held accountable. Part of this is ensuring that they have the training that they need. We are seeing increased demand from employers across Ontario for registered professional foresters and associate registered professional foresters, as well as a sustained increase in applicants wanting to join the profession from a whole variety of backgrounds, working in allied sciences, other areas of forestry, natural resources. To support this, they need training to fill in their competency gaps. So we see this as a really key initiative to help facilitate those people who are trying to join the profession from other pathways that are perhaps less traditional, to fill those gaps, get the training they need, and go on to serve the people and forests of Ontario. And that's the end of my spiel.
Minister, are we going to see other kinds of work training programs with other provinces like BC or Quebec who have also been hit very hard by tariffs?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I just announced the partnership with BC last week, and I was there with Minister Malcolmson to announce that to residents of British Columbia. And each province and territory is in the process of signing an agreement with Canada. Ultimately, I think it's about ensuring that the money is going towards specifically tariff-affected workers in the most efficient way, and making sure that we have good agreements around sharing data so that we can also learn from what we're doing and make sure that what we're doing is effective.
With the focus on retraining and upskilling, is there any tacit acknowledgement in this program that we had for years not been doing the right kind of training and skill set development for a resilient economy like we're trying to build today?
No, I don't think so. And you'll note that I mentioned almost $1 billion that is transferred from the federal government to the province of Ontario annually. These are through long-standing agreements, labor market agreements, that have actually seen a significant increase over the last number of years. The reality is, though, when a tariff deeply impacts a sector, and that company or sector has to pivot quickly to new product or new processes or even new markets, which may require different specifications, sometimes workers don't have those specific skill sets. They've been trained in a way to provide a certain output that might not match the needs of the new customer or the new product or the new process. So this is really about trying to ensure that the skills training lines up with what the market needs. In some cases, the skills training may allow for the employer to land a position within a similar sectoral employer. In some cases, that person may be training for a new role outside of that sector. The money and agreement is designed in a way to be flexible so that it can really focus on the aspirations of the worker, not necessarily guiding them towards very specific outcomes.
There is mention in the press release, though, about the major projects initiatives that Canada has been pushing in the past year or so. Is there an effort underway to retune Canada and Ontario, specifically workforce, to be able to develop those major projects and support that agenda?
Well, this is only one stream of work that's happening in the space of skills training, and I would say that the province has had a very aggressive, and I'll let Minister Piccini speak in a moment, but a very aggressive approach towards attracting newcomers to skilled trades, for example, and helping people through the apprenticeship. The federal government also has a suite of services and supports for apprentices and attracting, in many cases, underrepresented groups to skilled trades. We need every ounce of talent in this country to put their hand up in the case of major projects. And in fact, skilled trades is one of the areas of shortage across the country. And so while we are seeing unemployment rates related specifically to tariff-impacted sectors, there are, in many cases, deep shortages of professionals in other sectors. And this money today will help make sure that we can better align the talent that we have in Ontario with the kinds of jobs that are needed now and in the future. Maybe you could speak a bit about the trades.
Yeah. Thank you, Minister. I would just add that we see regionalization across Ontario, whereas the needs in one region may not be the same as the other. But when we talk to nation building, Ontario is looking to new nuclear. We're looking the Ring of Fire. As Environment Minister, worked closely on the terms of reference for the access roads, and we've seen remarkable progress there. We've gone to one permit, one process in Ontario. So these are remarkable opportunities that will require workers over the next number of years. So it's about being responsive to today, yes, but we all have to look 10, 15 years down the road, and as the great one said, where the puck's going. And, you know, in the skilled trades, for example, as the Minister noted, we've seen a historic number of young people register for apprenticeships. We have more women today in apprenticeships in Ontario than at any point since we've been tracking data in our province's history. And that's a testament to what we can achieve when we set our minds to building new nuclear, to refurbishing on time and on budget, to mining the critical minerals we need. We have one of the largest gold mines on planet Earth that I recently visited at Agnico. And so there's a lot of excitement happening around big projects, and there's no shortage of opportunities over the coming decades.
And if I can add to that on the defence industrial strategy, look, it's a pivotal strategy. The Government of Canada has never invested this much in defence since the 1950s. And so that's another area of opportunity for workers in Ontario. We were just at Blackberry in Waterloo making that announcement. And so the auto strategy, what we're doing around energy, are major projects. And so there's going to be ample opportunities. We need architects, engineers, carpenters to help build those major projects, not only in Ontario, but across Canada. And so today's announcement will help those workers to retool, reskill, and get involved in building the future of Canada.
Was there mention of someone from Algoma being here? Someone? Are you able to take? Sorry. There was mention of Algoma through its transition to the greener smelt furnaces, I believe, laid off 1,000 people last year. Through things like reskilling, retraining, has Algoma looked to rehire any of those people? Is that an outcome that we can foresee through some of these efforts?
So we're in the midst of the transition right now. We haven't actually laid off the workers yet, but we are looking forward to diversification with the support of Ontario and the federal government. We do have plans to have people reskilled and rehired in the future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Louise. Thank you.